simply to tell the story of Africa.
You know, we love, don't we? We love, well, I don't know about other people, but I think that human beings have the ability to love different people in different ways.
But religion at least can be controlled. It can be placed under check. Unfortunately, it's just become actually destroys the mind. I mean, everybody has seen it.
They have a national anthem, their own flag, and a leader in waiting. The protests have been mainly peaceful, but Cameroon's security forces have cracked down. 6 protesters were shot dead last year and hundreds arrested. It's here that demonstrations have gathered momentum in the last year by people saying they suffer discrimination at the hands of the French-speaking government.
The dramatic armed conflict that the regime posed on compatriots in the northwest and southwest regions persist.
They refused to assist us. But Cuba, the moment we appealed for assistance, they were ready to do so, and they did so.
For an intervention in the country. They're frustrated with the African Union, East Africa's regional body IGAD, and the United Nations, where they made their foreign intervention in the country. They're frustrated with the African Union, East Africa's regional body IGAD, and the United Nations, where they made their...
Our fight is only against the Portuguese colonialism.
Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Mark Bareta, and I don't know how I'm going to start to introduce you because you've been one of the fundamental and key figures in the Southern Cameroon's liberation struggle. And so I basically love what, because you've been fierce, you've been controversial, you've been all what a liberation fighter should embody. So I don't know, maybe you'd love to start by telling us a little bit about yourself and the work you do.
Well, I thank you very much, Aben. Thank you very much for inviting me into this show. Will you prefer us to continue in English or Pidgin English? Which?
The decision is yours.
All right, we'll continue as the spirit leads. Okay. Of course, I think that I'm being watched by Cameroonese and Ambazonians, as well as those across the globe. In simple terms, I am Mark Bareta. I'm the son of the soil from Nambui State and from the Manu State. And I am a microbiologist and a political activist for the restoration of the former British Southern Cameroon statehood. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, we're just gonna go straight. Just to inform you, here the questions I've prepared, and most of the questions are also coming from our viewers and for those who are on the ground or abroad who really want to know what is going on with the struggle. So I hope you're gonna give us like a really good insight and in the democratic spirit tackle the questions in the right way.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, beautiful. So let's just have an overview. Right now, the question all about all around social media or those who have been following on the ground, those who are not really directly connected to the struggle. The question is, since 2016 till now, what has been the mistakes in which activists like you are at the forefront for the freedom and liberation of Southern Cameroons? What has been some of the mistakes which have been made, or what are some of the achievements so far which have been made?
I think, first of all, we must understand that in every revolution, in every political manifestation, because we are humans, we are bound to make mistakes. And there is no revolution without mistakes. And there is no revolution without differences. The problem should come, how did we as a people rise above those differences, rise above those mistakes? And as an Ambazonian and a former leader of the Southern Cameroons Civil Society Consortium, and also a present chairman of the Southern Cameroons Activist Front, we've made some mistakes. I'll talk on a personal note, because I don't want to group everyone, because I'm not talking as Mark Bareta, the activist, though with an insight of what is happening. Let me go first with the positive. One of the major achievements that we've succeeded to do is that we've destroyed the myth surrounding the Cameroon military, the Cameroon B, against the people. We have known the Cameroon B as one of the most barbaric military force on earth, and we've destroyed that myth surrounding them. But the first and the most important achievement we've done is that as citizens of Southern Cameroons, we've freed ourselves from mental slavery. We've succeeded to destroy the type of history that French Cameroon gave to our people. So mentally, we are free. And that is why for 4 years running, the people are saying it is independence or resistance forever. Thank you.
Okay, you've touched on.
Okay, I have to go to the mistakes. You asked about mistakes. Yes, yes. I forgot about that. As an individual, I think I made this comment few months. That was even last year or a few months back, and I said one of the mistakes I think we as people did was to allow the creation of a government in the revolution. Because the creation of the government in the revolution, we were not supposed to have done that. And as a people, I took responsibility, and I apologize, because a government brought a lot of division. It brought a lot of politics. It brought a lot of power mongering. It brought a lot of people already thought that they were already in Ambazonia, whereas we are in a liberation struggle. So that is one of the major mistakes that we've done. And now we are living the effects of those mistakes. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you for articulating it so well. And in the revolutionary spirit, you count the mistakes as well as you learn from it, and also the successes which we need to build upon. And I think what you just touched is the most important thing, because I think that is one of the best characters of a revolution. Revolutions come, we make mistakes, we have to revise the revolutionary theory, we have to re-strategize, we have to re-educate. And as the revolution continues, so too we developed. So really beautiful, Hassan.
Yes, mistakes. The thing with our people, Ambazonians, sometimes are very impatient. It's a revolution. Mistakes will be done along the way, but the maturity in us is that how are we learning? How do we grow from these mistakes? A lot of mistakes will be done before we reach Buea, but I think it's a perfect means for us to study ourselves, know ourselves, so that by the time we arrive Buea, we're going to have the best democratic model that we see a new nation in Africa.
Beautiful. Okay, so Mark, this leads me to the next question, which many Ambazonians or Southern Cameroonians would like you to answer. Why do you call Siseko Ayok Tabe the president of Ambazonia? Does he have any democratic mandate? When was he elected and by whom?
Wait, let us. I will take it in two phases. Prior to when I was championing the idea of a government, that we had a government in the revolution, I addressed Siseko Ayok Tabe as the president of Ambazonia, the president of the interim government. Before he became the president of the interim government, he was the chairman of the governing council, the Ambazonian governing council that transformed into the interim government. I will not say nobody who sat in that interim government was democratically elected. But when you look at the outcome, the response that the people did on the 22nd of September in the year of our Lord 2017, they came out in millions, in thousands, from the call that Ayok Julius Tabe made as chairman of the governing council. When he made that call and asked Ambazonians to go out to call the French Cameroon government to release Bala and the rest, many people responded. Some of us as activists were out there to champion the cause. And when thousands of our people went out on the 1st of October, Ayok Tabe proclaimed the restoration. He reaffirmed the restoration of Southern Cameroon's independence. We saw that across the 13 states in former British Southern Cameroons, our people responded in their numbers. That alone should give you the about the mandate of Ayok Julius Tabe. It is not a direct mandate in the sense that there wasn't any election, but the response of the people towards the call of Ayok Julius Tabe gave him that mandate. Post after he was adopted as the president of the interim government, I came to the reality that the fact that we had a government in the revolution was wrong. And personally, I don't look at Ayok Julius Tabe as a president of a country or a president of a government. No. When I call him sometimes president, I do that probably out of respect. I look at the interim government now as a group. So he is a president of his group. But Ayok Julius Tabe, as it stands, is the face of the Ambazonian revolution. It means he has no allegiance to any other group as a leader and the one who is behind jail. He is the face of the Ambazonian revolution. And we have seen that across the globe, how media and governments have been reaching out to him. He is our own Mandela, whether some people like it or not. So as of now, Ayok Julius Tabe is not the president of a certain government, because I don't believe there is a government. He could be a president of the group which I call the IGK, but to describe it better, he is the face of the Ambazonian revolution.
Okay, well articulated, but there are certain things you've said that I think many Ambazonians will be confused, or many Southern Cameroonians will be confused. You said Ayok Tabe is the face of the Ambazonian struggle, but at the same time, you acknowledge that you made a mistake or that you were one of those who championed the fight for the creation of an interim government for Southern Cameroon's liberation struggle.
Yeah.
But you are still making reference to Ayok Tabe and the IG.
No, I've said the IG. Listen, what I say does not mean that is what is the reality. There are many hundreds of Ambazonians who still believe that there is a government. You understood? There are many who still ascribe to the interim government as if they think that there is a government. And so they flow with that idea. I cannot go and remove that from their head. I cannot say stop. But as an individual, what I'm saying is that I look at the IG as a group, a revolutionary group. Because in the revolution of Ambazonia, we have many other groups who are fighting for the same cause. You cannot throw away the interim government. Forget the name interim government. Just look at it as a sort of another group that is fighting along other groups towards the restoration of the former British Southern Cameroons. That's what I think. But there are a lot of other Ambazonians who disagree with me, who said no, they have a government and the leader is X, Y, or B. I hope that is clear.
Yeah. Then one thing for those who are also learning more about the revolution, because I think you are like a living library when it comes to this struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Is the interim government, is it legitimate? Is it democratic in nature?
What do you talk about legitimacy? Who ascribed legitimacy to a group? Cameroon, Paul Biya says he is the president of Cameroon. He says he had an election and he as now you are hearing Kamto, who doesn't recognize that election was won by Paul Biya. So much more difference between legitimacy and legality. By legal means, by all means, Paul Biya could be the president of Cameroon. But now legitimacy now will rely on how many people turn out, how fair the election was, and how credible it was. When it comes to Ambazonia, when you talk about legality, there is no legal instrument that we can rely on that created the government, the interim government. The only instrument that we have is what we call the Southern Cameroon's constitution that were used in Buea prior to 1961 when French Cameroon crossed over. So legitimacy it will vary amongst Ambazonians. There's some Ambazonians who don't see Ayok Tabe as legitimate. Myself and many others see him as legitimate. There are those who call other leaders not legitimate. So the legitimacy is not objective; it is subjective. It gets across. You understand? When we talk about legality of the interim government, no particular group has the entire mandate of the people of Southern Cameroon. It's a collective effort.
Beautiful. Okay. Right now, I'm gonna play a video of you. Then the question is gonna come after.
All right, go on, please.
Yeah.
This brings me to the other breaking news. Coalition of National Dialogue and Negotiation. The Coalition of National Dialogue and Negotiation. Something happened within the last few weeks that we never reported. But like my brother Comrade Eric Tato said in the past, the Coalition for National Dialogue and Negotiation, it is one of the best in terms of diplomacy that we have in our revolution. This is a group of fine gentlemen, established gentlemen, apolitical gentlemen that you don't even know, you don't even know them, you've not even seen them. Professors, people they have connections from different areas to live. But these are people who believe that the question of Southern Cameroons will end on the table.
Okay. Beautiful. I hope you remember that.
Of course, I do.
Okay, beautiful. So my question now for you is, we're having like an echo. I don't know if something is playing in the background.
No.
Okay. Okay, so my question now for you is this. The coalition of national dialogue and negotiation. What is this coalition all about? I'm not finished, please.
Okay.
What is this coalition all about? You also mentioned the question of Southern Cameroons will end on the table. So, are you pushing for dialogue through the use of arms or through a non-violent approach?
You see, when the revolution started in 2016, I mean the current phase of the revolution, because the people of the former British Southern Cameroons who have been fighting this colonialism since on the day that French Cameroon crossed over into the former British Southern Cameroons on the 1st of October 1961 and annexed us. You know of the Southern Cameroons National Council and many SCAPO and many other. So in 2016, you know, when our leaders on the ground, when they met to dialogue with French Cameroon officials in good faith, by then they were calling for federalism in good faith. But unfortunately for them, some of their leaders were arrested and detained. Many others escaped to Nigeria. And the diaspora came into full force, and leadership was transferred to the diaspora. So, and you saw how it progressed. By then, it was non-violent. The government of French Cameroon and its military, they were the ones who started the killings of our people on the 8th of December 2016 in Bamenda, Julius Ato, and in Kumba. And they continued to do that also in January. They abducted our leaders. And when that happened, you remember on the 22nd of September, they used machine guns when people came out in thousands with peace plans. And after that, Paul Biya called us to arms. He declared war. And our people responded. And they went into their homes. They never had AKs. When you saw how it moved, they never had AKs. And people went, you know, our people from the grassland and also in the south of Ambazonia, they went and collected game guns, hunting guns. And that's how you see it move. So you must understand that the people of former British Southern Cameroons, we are not violent by nature. We started this thing in the most peaceful manner. And therefore, we are only responding to the actions of French Cameroon. We know that every revolution, every war will end on the table. But what are those factors? What are those pull and push factors that will push French Cameroon to move on the table? If French Cameroon organized a fake national dialogue, I think it was because of the pressure they were having. The results of the fake national dialogue, they don't have it yet because they failed to address the root cause of why the two Cameroons are now in this present state fighting. So, of course, everyone supports dialogue. We must talk. Everyone supports a negotiation. Even we have to fight this armed struggle for the next 20 or how many years, it will end on the table. And the problem, the bad faith is that something that would have been solved on the table has resulted to the loss of many lives. But as a people, we're pushed to pick up arms. And so the people of Southern Cameroons are only responding to the attacks of French Cameroon.
Okay. So there's a follow-up question to that. You spoke about that the people of Southern Cameroons are peaceful in nature and the armed struggle was imposed on the people of Southern Cameroons.
Yes.
So What do you have to say about the national dialogue? Which what are your thoughts, your reflections, or what do you want Southern Cameroonians to know about the dialogue which the Biya regime?
Of course, that is a fiasco. It was a smokescreen. The regime in French Cameroon, listen, they are not ready to dialogue because they know, like how the UN and most countries have said, please negotiate and dialogue on the root cause of the revolution. The root cause of the conflict, we know it is how the two Cameroons came together. That is the root. The FBI in 1984, the CIA in 1984, had announced that should Cameroon continue to take away the legal and the cultural nature of the people of Anglophone Cameroon, there will be a day that they're going to pick up arms. So the world is already aware. The world knew that someday this is what we're going to do. So the national dialogue that Mr. Pobia called, that was a smokescreen. Can you tell me, is that how a dialogue is organized when you have an armed conflict of this nature? Look at all history books. You are a revolutionary. You've read books. You've read how things are being solved. Is that how it's being solved? On camera, big people come on the table, Cameroon flags there. People are making. Oh, that was just it was like a show. It was like a political show. It was a fiasco. That was why when they sent me a personal invitation from the Prime Minister office, talking to me privately, I said, I won't come. I won't be there. A dialogue of that nature, the decision of that nature, you must recognize that these are people with a problem. And it has to be in a neutral ground, supervised by third parties, so that if we come with the solutions, the world will be able to hold Cameroon responsible for breaching the resolutions, or they're going to hold Ambazonians responsible for breaching the resolution. So we need a third party that will put the facts on the table, which will sit and discuss. So Cameroon is afraid. They are afraid to face it because they know historically we will beat them. Legally, we will beat them. The facts are there. ABC. There is no revolution in the world that are fighting for so-called secession that can compare with what we as is unique and different. And that is why Cameroon is afraid. Because they are thinking, and that is what the idea that was given Cameroonese. They are thinking that this present Cameroon was their German Cameroon. No! German Cameroon, in fact, both Cameroon and Amazonia, at no point in history we have ever been one. At no point in history we have ever been administered as one. The German Cameroon, as it were, part is in Nigeria, part is in Gabon, part is in Equatorial Guinea. Has Cameroon gone to Gabon or Equatorial Guinea to say, please bring me back the part of that Cameroon? That's my Cameroon. It was unfortunate that they said we will get independence by joining another country, and so French Cameroon is thinking that Ambazonia is part of their land that we want to go. No, we are two separate, different peoples with two politically different history. So that's what French Cameroon is afraid. They are doing this concoct national dialogue nonsense, talking, because they are afraid to face the reality on the table. Because they know on the table there are UN documents, there are experts who will say, but look at this is what the facts are saying. These people should be allowed to go.
Okay. It's a dictum. It's a dictum that when it comes to dialogue or when it comes to ending a conflict, every party across the aisle needs to make a compromise. And I know you are a hardliner, or anybody who supports freedom or liberation. There's nothing to compromise when my freedom is concerned, when your freedom is concerned. But based on the nature of this armed conflict, Southern Cameroonians out there are asking the question that what do hardliners or activists or revolutionaries like you, what are you willing to compromise to make sure that this armed conflict in Southern Cameroon end.
Anybody that will tell you about what he is willing to compromise now, that person is a liar. Negotiations are something which is very, very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. Of course, we understand that both parties must be willing to compromise on certain aspects. You understand? So, on the negotiation table, Cameroon should accept to come on the table with the third party, and when the talks are going on, then we are going to know the type of compromises we can make as a people. Whatever compromises that we make, our team will have to take it back to the people of Saudi Cameroons to look at it. That's why I say negotiation is not something that can be done within one day. No. You recall that when Mandela was taken, it took many years. Backdoor negotiations, formal negotiations before the end of apartheid. So the mistake that some Ambazonians and some people think that Cameroon can just get it one day and within 1 month. No. With the nature of our conflict, we can take 2 years, 3 years for negotiation. Brexit took 2 years or so to negotiate to move out of UK, because there are things that we need to agree. So if Cameroon, listen, we should come to the table with the one Cameroon agenda. That's what they want. Accepted. Those of us that we are hardliners, Ambazonians, we will come so that we are going our separate ways. We put our facts on the table. Then from there, if there are any compromises to be made, we will look at the feasibilities and we'll take it back to our people. I cannot come to that tell you, oh, I'll compromise on this. I cannot do that. Immediately I do that, I've only sold out, I become a weakly. Cameroon knows that I'm weak, and then Cameroon want to build on that, it will give them strength. No! Cameroon must know that we are a match to them on the field, we'll be a match to them on the field, we'll be a match to them on the table. And we have very good experts who have worked on this thing on other countries. Compromises will be there. That is a fact.
But what compromises are you willing to make?
I listen, maybe some of the compromises will be we might give them some form of that they're stealing away our resources. We might say, okay, because you are going, we might say take this water supply maybe for 2 or 3 years. Or we might open our borders. We want to say, no, we are closing our borders. We don't want people to come into Amazonia. But okay, we'll open our borders for skilled workers. There are many things that can be. I know you want to hear about the issue of so-called form of state, about the issue of one Cameroon. Let me just say, maybe people think, let me just say, when it comes to the nation as an Ambazonian and as identity of a Southern Cameroon, there is no compromise when it concerns the statehood of the former British Southern Cameroons. It should be clear. Thank you.
Okay. Beautiful. There is something that I think is important for political education, because you touched on the fact that East Cameroon things that were administered as one under German Cameroon or something. But critics for the secessionists or for the liberation or independence of Southern Cameroons, they also have a point. They say they say that Cameroon has always been one before the colonial masters came, and then Pan-Africanists are also saying that, oh, we want a united, and my biggest bet is gonna be that you're a Pan-Africanist. Or
let me just, this discussion is very important. You see, there is something wrong with Pan-Africanists also, understood. Pan-Africanists, sometimes they think that to be a Pan-African means people should not have their own state. They are looking at Pan-Africanists as one Africa as one. No, they are wrong. That was not the original idea of our forefathers who came with the idea of a Pan-Africanist. So when we want to say, oh, no, one have our own state, say, no, you are not the Pan-Africanist because you have to create another state. No. We were told in history that there was what we call the scramble for Africa. Africa 50 years ago was not one. Africa, there was no Nigeria, there was no Ghana, there was not this, there was no names like that. We had chiefdoms, we had fondoms. You recall that fondoms and chiefdoms fought wars. We had tribes and various tribes that were fighting. We had migration. They even said the Bantu people came from Sudan. You know, they migrated from Sudan. So we have those tribes and fondoms. The white man came into Africa and created boundaries. When they created boundaries, they gave them names. The people fought and they said, okay, we will give you independence. And they say this area administered by this, the area administered by this takes independence. So if Ghana, if South Africa, if Nigeria, if Ethiopia, if Eritrea, if all other countries in Africa were colonized by the West through the scramble of Africa, and they finally became independent, what stopped Southern Cameroons that were also colonized under the British sovereignty to get independence? Recall that French Cameroon was administered as a trust territory for the UN. All these structures were UN trust territory. France was helping the UN. France was administering. In fact, the UN said, France, can you administer us this place? And the UN said, Britain, UK, can you administer us through this? So we were also administered as part of Nigeria. The British administered us as part of Nigeria for convenience sake. For convenience, that's why we had a house in the Eastern House in Enugu, for convenience sake. So all these countries, whether Spain, France, UK, they were told to prepare their various colonies towards independence. And so when French Cameroon gained her independence on the 1st of January 1960, Southern Cameroon was still a UN trust territory. And the German Cameroon that we call the Cameroon with a K is not French Cameroon and Southern Cameroon that we have now. There are Cameroonese and people who are thinking that German Cameroon is just this Cameroon that we have now. No. There are many original parts of German Cameroon that as the scramble was going on and they were dividing from the Berlin conference, they said take his part, and they were building boundaries. That is why when you look at the people of Equatorial Guinea with the people of Yaoundé at the borders, their language and culture is the same. Look at across the world, look at the borders of every country. In the southern zone in Ambazonia, the border between Fako and Douala, you see the people they have similar language and similar culture. Look at the borders between Mezam in the northern zone and the west, is the same. Look at the borders between Manu and Calabar. Look at the culture in the Igbo, the Calabar area, and people of Manu is the same. There are people in Calabar and Manu that share same language. Go to Britain, go to Belgium. Look at Belgium and I just call this other country besides Belgium. Holland, Netherlands. Look at Belgium, Holland. At the borders, they speak same language. So that is go across the world. That is it. Countries that are bordered together, they are basically one people whose people speak same language, same culture. But the scramble for the world, even the European war and American war, people were fighting and they carved themselves countries. Why should citizens of Southern Cameroons be refused also the enjoyment of the, let me call it, though colonizing was a sin? Why should people of Southern Cameroon also not benefit from the fallout of independence? No, French Cameroon had its independence, so people should not be putting lies, confusing the people about Cameroon was one. No. Southern Cameroon and French Cameroon has not been administered as one. The only time that they have been administered as one per se was on the 1st of October that French Cameroon crossed over to Ambazonia and annexed the territory and we're administering our people then change the name of the country, even went against the illegal and fake 11 February, and even their own federal constitution, Article 47, which says nothing should be done that would temper with the structure and form of the federation. So Cameroonese, that is why you see why we are succeeding, is because Ambazonians in their millions and over 98.9%, they have understood this historical perspective. We've succeeded to use social media, and with the help of God, our people now understand that we are two separate people. So we will not allow those fake history thinking that we're one. No, we're not one. And sometimes they try to use, say, oh, we are one. Look at people of Douala and Fako, Bakuri, they are the same. Or look at people of West. And no. So, okay, what about people of Manu and Calabar? Does that make somebody from Efik, or from Edwingan, or from Akwaya, same as Nigerians? Our parents studied in Nigeria. Most of them have Agbo. There is Agbo in Nigeria. There is Agbo in Cameroon. Does that make Nigerian something ammonia? No, it does not. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, while you said something which is critical to the struggle right now for Southern Cameroon's independence, you spoke about that before colonialism, or before the Germans came in the 19th century, were organized into fondoms, chiefdoms. And this leads to one question. Right now, with the contemporary struggle, we see there's a problem in which we know the chiefs or the funds, they are being paid, they're on a payroll from the government. That's from the Biya regime in Yaoundé. Don't you think it's high time to abolish chiefdoms, or to get away with, or what? Yeah.
Do we have chiefs and fonds anymore? Do we have chiefs and funds? The present chiefs and funds, they have been politicized. These are people, the so-called funds, who gathered all their witchcraft and gave to Pobia as fun of fun. Listen, the present day funds and chiefs, most of them they are in disgrace. Those are people that were supposed to stay, protect their community. Those are people who had the ancestral power from our forefathers. But those ancestral power, it has been adulterated. They got themselves into politics. Cameroon government brought them into politics, little money. Go to Southern Zone, look at a fund. He will sit, a chief will sit in a bar and drink beer. He will toast. Look at if the fund of Mankong that greeted with his hand the wife of Pobia is the one on we, whereas the Queen of England could not even greet the fund on we with his hand. The fund refused. So you see, the present day funds and chiefs across Ambazonia, across other Cameroons, they are all useless. The ones who have remained in Ambazonia are the real ones who are now in the community, and they are not helping our people. They are now managing our community. You recall that Ayodji Stebe in 2017, when he proclaimed and asked people to protest, he told them, go to your fondoms and chiefdoms. That is where power lies. That's why you saw many of our people march. They didn't march to an SDO office. They didn't march to a DO. They marched to their fondoms and chiefdoms, because our culture says that in every community, in every village, the seat of power lies in the fondoms and chiefdoms. But the present chiefs and funds, they have destroyed their seat of power. They have taken away their power and handed over to DOs, to SDOs, those colonial French Cameroon administrators. And today, who are they? They are political refugees in Douala. They are refugees in Yaoundé. They cannot even go back to their fondom and chiefdoms. But with the third-class chiefs, there are many other chiefs that are now in the communities in Amazonia. Those are the real people. And when we have Amazonia, we are going to put in place. Listen, we are people of nostalgia. You recall what we call the House of Chiefs. The funds and chiefs, they will have their place as custodians of our tradition, as the law will prescribe. We won't accept any anything to get into politics.
Whoa, well articulated. Okay, I think we should take a short break. You need so that you drink some water. Okay, we'll take a 1 minute break and then we'll be back.
That's okay, thank you.
Okay, cool.
Combattants de l'indépendance, aujourd'hui victorieux, je vous salue au nom du gouvernement congolais.
Secretary of Guinea, it was Modibo Keïta of Mali.
Camarades, il faut enterrer tous les ennemis du peuple.
That day is not far when we shall lead you to freedom.
Away to power to the people.
Tonight I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man.
We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary.
Parce que la petite bourgeoisie aujourd'hui est convaincue qu'elle ne peut se passer de ces produits-là. Eh bien, il nous faut travailler.
Mozambique, Eduardo Mondlane was here, as indeed Samora Moises Machel.
Dangerous religions, or the dangerous paths that religion takes and which compels human beings to take. And one of the beauties that stress this at every opportunity.
The whole tradition of storytelling was created simply to tell the story of Africa.
You know, we love, don't we? We love, well, I don't know about other people, but I think that human beings have the ability to love different people in different ways.
But religion at least can be controlled. It can be placed under check. Unfortunately, it's